I got a question for you. What makes a character perfect? This question may seem easy, just the best and highest tier characters, right? Well, it actually depends on what type of person you are. If you're a casual play for fun type player, you would say that what makes a character great is high damage, the big numbers, the collateral damage, all that fun satisfying stuff. If you're a tryhard veteran, you'd say defense, iframes, sustain, damage mitigation, the things that get you through every level without too much effort. And if you're a hippie, you'd say quirkiness, how unique the character is, what's their special gimmick, what makes it stand out. Soul Knight's characters have all of that covered. You got the high damage characters that can clear rooms like it's nothing, the invincible characters that can get you through bullet hell easily, and we got more quirky characters than FNAF and animatronics at night. But the thing is, they all stick to that role almost to a fault. Most of them will always revolve around their role, and even though they get different skills to try to flex into other roles, their original identity always sticks out in their kit, which is great for consistency but not so much for versatility. However, there is one character that manages to flip that norm upside down, a character that can cover every job and be played in every way you want, making it the most gem-efficient character in the whole game, the Assassin. From defense to offense to uniqueness, the Assassin covers almost everything a player wants in a Soul Knight character, and this is why he's one of the most main characters in the game. Hell, even I main. So today, as promised from this poll, let's take a dive into Soul Knight's perfect character and find out how one character can scratch the itch of so many different types of players. The Assassin is an invader character with 5 health, 5 armor, and 200 energy. His health is below average since most of them are hearts instead of armor, unlike most old characters, so speed and good dodging is everything with his character. Fear not though, because the Assassin has all and every tool he needs to survive, from his skills down to his passive. His passive is one of the best in the game, which is weird to think about. I mean, it's been 7 years and we got characters with peer-reviewed papers for a passive, meanwhile the Assassin is still top 3 with just a base buff. His passive is the ability to deflect bullets with melee attacks,
Return the sender.
which is perhaps one of the most powerful hybrid tools in the game. You turn that basic defense mechanism into an offense one, and it's pretty damn effective, especially when reflective things like snowballs or bullets that split up. With melee weapons that have a high attack speed, you become a turret to everything that you face. It makes defending yourself with melee safer too, since while everyone else has to go in eventually to kill the damage source, you on the other hand can just stand there and let the deflected bullets finish the job. The passive also enforces the wholly unwritten rule of Soul Knight. Thou shalt always carry a blade, stick, axe, or whatever you can spec a bitch with as a secondary for those sinful bullets. Perhaps one of the best parts about this passive is that it's applied to everyone in the lobby, be it followers or co-op players, so you can make your melee followers into ranged damage dealers, and you can make your fellow paladin into a no-you fiend. It does have some drawbacks, like not being able to deflect hollow and arrow bullets and obviously being useless against lasers, but with all the iframes the character got, you can just get through these no problem. The passive is worth every gem you drop on it, and it's not even particularly close. His starter weapon is the Bloodblade, an 8 damage melee weapon with an average swing speed. It's a decent melee weapon, and has a pretty nice range, especially for reflection purposes as previously discussed. You can also charge it for a triple dash attack that increases attack speed, attack range, and pushes you forward.
Action is coming.
Now this attack gives you a nice burst of damage, but it is so risky. 80% of my deaths back when I first started playing this guy was me using the dashes and dying as I charged headfirst into danger. Losing control over your character movement is such a risky maneuver. Characters like a miner and airbender get away with it because one stuns and the other teleports. But the Assassin just dashes forward, all the benefits just being a bigger range at the attack speed, which is great for deflection, but the movement might just get you closer to damage, which is the opposite of what you want to do. This thing's name is the Bloodblade, but it should be called a double-edged sword, because on one hand, the burst can easily remove enemies in early levels, but on the other hand, you might accidentally start an Roadrunner episode. If you see you're about to get into trouble while dashing, you can cancel the dash by just swapping weapons, by the way. I also want to dispute the myth of dash running. It does not make you move any faster. The Assassin stops momentarily between dashes, so you basically cover ground at the same speed. Ha, as if that would stop me from doing it. It's a decent weapon at World 1, serviceable at World 2, and hits the cool noodle at World 3. So far I keep it for aesthetics, sure, but there are better melees overall, especially with the passive. Get anything that has high attack speed. Already with just the passive on the starter, you can see the versatility of the Assassin, adding offense to defensive aspects and having a skillful display on his start point. However, his skills are what make him really shine, so let's take a quick look at them now. The Assassin's first skill is his signature iframes ability. When used, the Assassin gains a burst of movement speed, dashing forward to enemies to slice them with a 12 damage melee. While he's in this state, he's invincible to all attacks. He does still take negative effects like Afterburn and Poison, but he's invincible, so it doesn't really matter. The melee slash occurs once the attack button is pressed or when getting close to enemies. If the Assassin kills the target, the ability ends, giving you 1 extra second of iframes, and the cooldown is reset, letting you use the skill again. You can reset the skill up to 4 additional times for a total of 5 uses before you're forced to let the ability cool down normally. This right here is why so many people get hooked to the assassin. No other character will make you feel this freaking badass, jumping from enemy to enemy, killing them in seconds. It's fine, we got the 2 health back, don't worry about it, the skill is still good, it's fine, it's all good. The iframes and movement speed lets you use the skill offensively to get in and secure kills, or defensively to buy time for armor to regenerate or dodge a huge burst of damage. The fact that it resets also means you can just use it for both things simultaneously. Being an iframes ability means it has infinite scaling regardless of levels, but this takes it to a whole new level. God help the monsters if you get a mentor buff. It's become such a broken ass ability, it's not even funny. The resets occur on any kill, by the way, not just the melee slash, so you can just keep firing your gun and use the skill for speed and iframes, basically doing the drive-by on foot. Usually you're forced to stop firing and have to swing the melee first once you click the skill, but you can bypass that by simply holding down the firing button while turning the skill. And yeah, it is really uncomfortable to do so on a phone, but this is one of the skill's drawbacks. It's the biggest controller's comfort check in the game. With how often it resets and the different attack mechanics, you have to make sure that every button is in its perfect place, or, just use an emulator. Another drawback of the skill is that it doesn't tell you the number of resets you're on, so unless you're keeping track, which you don't, you run into the situation of rushing in on your last reset without knowing it. The amount of resets can go back to 4 if you wait 7 seconds regardless of what reset you're on, which is shorter than the regular 9-second cooldown button. So maybe at your 3rd reset you can leave the skill be to charge faster. Overall though, this skill is the freest skill in the assassin. You can use it to engage, disengage, go on a kill streak, maintain position, and so much more. Any type of player can grab it and make it work according to his placement. And the more you practice, the more you get out of it. Just please, before you use it alongside the Bloodblade for those flashy ping pong kills, do consider using your gun here and there. Unless you master Zensu's 8th form. The assassin's 2nd skill is by far his most controversial, and it's basically where he calls his cousins from the countryside to rip your ass a new one. The assassin spawns a clone that uses the same weapon he is using at the moment of spawning, acting as a follower. The clones will only disappear once he takes enough damage. Up to 2 clones can be active at a time. Being his only non-iframes ability, the skill gets a lot of snack. I mean, you have such a small health pool and not having an iframes might seem like the death of this character, right? Well, I'm here to refute all this because I genuinely believe this skill is just fine, honestly. This is because of how surprisingly tanky the clones are. Their health is calculated through this equation: the player's max health plus max armor all power 2. Since a fully upgraded assassin has 5 health and 5 armor, that means that the clone has 20 health. For reference, that is the health of the custom prince armor with half his hitbox. And it can freaking increase. With the right buffs, consumables, and what have you, you can get to some seriously ridiculous numbers on these guys. Beyond their health, the fact that they can also use your current weapon is super underrated. Because they're aggressive and fully charge the Bloodblade every attack, you can use them as a powerful meat shield that rush in for damage and protection. Remember, they also use your passive, or you can use them to essentially triple your damage. There is also the nice option of making clones of weapons you might need but don't necessarily want to pick up. This happens way more than you think, especially with weapons that can stun. Simply keep your higher DPS weapons and have a clone use the utility weapons.
What is my purpose?
You pass butter.
Oh my god.
I have 3 good strategies with this skill. The first one I call the wall, which is making 2 melee weapon clones and let them go first to attack and reflect bullets for me to finish the job. The second I call the boss mission, where you make 2 high damage clones to quickly DPS bosses and champion enemies before they have a say in it. Which is more risky, but it's really funny, honestly. And the third is a hybrid, where you keep 1 clone with a melee weapon and 1 clone with a normal weapon, to provide a nice mix of protection and damage. This is more of an early game thing than anything on. What's great about these clones is that unlike other followers, they don't freaking pick up random weapons that they aren't even that good. And I put this thing down or so help me. Now, I'm not saying this skill is great, but it's a lot more usable than what people give it credit for. You get some seriously beefy followers with whatever util you can find. You just need to play with a different mindset. Instead of playing like an invader, play like a summoner. Dodge more, use your passive for damage, and let the followers soften up enemies. If anything, this skill just showcases the assassin's flexibility, that 2 completely different classes can be combined into one with this character. Now, of course, it does force you to play safer, but it opens a whole new playstyle to build for the assassin. You can pick up new buffs that affect the doppelgangers to turn them from countryside bullets to the 3 musketeers if you wish, and it's a pretty creative take on a character like this. It's a cheap skill that kills decently well based on how you play, so I would recommend giving it a go. Unironically, it feels like a better druid sometimes. Sorry, Spectra, a month ago. The assassin's 3rd skill has the assassin go
Bravo 6. Going dark.
The assassin becomes invisible, making NPCs unable to target him and forget who's even there, because apparently enemies in this game have less IQ than the orderlies has skills. Attacking while invis ends the invis, but increases the damage and the crit chance of the attack, which leads to almost a triple damage increase. It also increases bullets and melee slash size. Before we keep going with his skill, I'd like to remind you that this thing actually has iframes. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that. I've been playing this character for like 6 years and I somehow only learned about that recently. No wonder it felt safe to use. The iframes last for the entire cloaking animation, but you're susceptible to damage again after it wears off. Not that it matters since you won't be attacked, but you gotta watch out for bullets that are already in the way. Just because you're invisible doesn't mean you're invincible.
Appreciate it.
This skill is the Assassin's offense-focused skill. Say that in Blastfast. The invis, move speed, and the iframes still allow for defensive use, but the main way you'll want to use it is the invis in, charge up your most powerful attack, and give monsters the good old
Devastation.
It's not as effective as the first skill when it comes to surviving bullet hell, but damn is it satisfying having that first hit basically erase all champion enemies. Its cooldown is also relatively short, so you can spam it if you play your cards right. It's also nasty for co-op. Having other damage characters line up for a 3x punch is devastating. I would recommend using the first skill if you're still new and try to learn the whole dodging thing, but once you get the hang of it, this skill promises some of the best damage in the game, and it's not even particularly close. Now that we covered all the aspects of the Assassin, it should be pretty clear why I think this character is the best. The Assassin has it all, from the damage to the defense to the uniqueness. If you like a class, chances are you'll like the Assassin. Some characters try to act in a similar way, being a jack of all trades, master of none. However, the Assassin's Kit does a much better job at this by having each piece of it complement each playstyle. If you want to play offensively and fish for some rope clears, the reflection from the passive, resets from swings from the first skill, weapons and aggressiveness from the second skill, and the bonus damage from the third skill will help you out and complement it. If you want to play strictly defensive and make sure you don't get hit once, the safety of playing back and reflecting with the passive, the iframes of the first skill, body blocking of the second skill, and the iframes and speeds from the third skill will allow you to do so with relative ease. And if you want to just have some dumb fun with a weird build that no one builds, you can just definitely do that too with the second skill. Unlike other characters, you don't have to swap skills to play a different playstyle. Each skill has enough quirkiness and utility in it to fit everything. I also appreciate his welcoming skill requirement. He has a pretty high skill ceiling, but his skill floor is low enough for anyone to pick up and start training with. And each ability has enough skill requirement to make you feel like every minute you spent practicing the character was worth it. This is why the Assassin is the best. He's not the strongest character in the game, but he gives you just enough tools to make him great at anything, and any playstyle you want. And he rewards your dedication with better results and in return more fun. Something other characters fail at despite being relatively strong too. And this is the reason why the Assassin is Soul Knight's perfect character. Not because he's the strongest, not because he's the most broken, but because he gives you just enough of everything to let you do whatever you want, giving you the most amount of fun you can do without swapping skills or swapping characters entirely. Thanks for watching. The essay part of the video is over, so you can stop watching now if you want to care about that, but this part is just a long yapping section for me to thank you guys for helping me reach 1000 subscribers. I've been dreaming of making a channel for 13 years. I've been doing this since I was 8, I'm not even funny. I remember hanging out with my childhood friend talking about people who watch and wishing to be like them one day. I've always been a guy who likes discussing and analyzing, and I've always wished I could do it in a video format. I tried multiple things, nothing particularly worked, but I found a great community in Soul Knight that I can share my thoughts and discussions in. Having the channel reach a milestone that makes it official and getting the following that likes and waits for my work has been life-changing to say the least. From the confidence, to the passion, to the interactivity, and I look forward to these moments rather than just dream about them, and I thank you guys for helping me experience this. I only hope that we continue to grow and that you guys enjoyed all the ideas I have for future videos. After the success of the facts video, I'll definitely expand my video ideas pool, and not just limit it to character essay and character reviews. That and the fact that some characters just don't have much to talk about. I mean, what you all want me to say about the wizard? So if you were holding off subscribing, consider doing so, and let me know what you think about this video and what videos you'd like to see next. Thanks for helping me reach this milestone. I'll see you in the next one.